morning. Now that you've had a chance to create at least a sample genogram for yourself and your family, simulating what you might ask a client to do at some point, we're now going to start looking at least some very introductory activities that you might use this genogram for, some basic questions that you might ask the client to process using what they're able to discover through their genogram. And again, I'm going to ask you to go through this process yourself to familiarize yourself with how this might feel for a client. So the first thing that I want you to understand is that there are some very universal truths about families. One of them is that our family, both our family of origin and the current family situation, our household situation that we're in, affect us, how we experience problems, as well as how we resolve those problems. Certainly, our family of origin teaches us most of our skills and knowledge in that area, but our current family is going to have a huge impact as well, especially if you're now living with people who may have been taught different ways of defining problems and addressing problems. The second universal truth is that we as professional helpers are going to try to get the client to identify and understand the truth of the first statement as early as we can in the helping process, in as much as that's part of that client moving toward more health, more happiness, more productivity, more enfranchisement, whether it's in their own family, their community, etc. So let's move ahead. And now I want you to look at the PDF that I posted for today. That's going to go along with our discussion today, I hope, very nicely. The handout describes to you family roles. The particular author that you're looking at is based on the research of Sharon Wegscheider Cruz, who is a giant in the field of family dysfunction, understanding family dysfunction, and understanding how to help families move toward greater functioning. Sharon Wegscheider Cruz has identified these roles that occur in every family. If you take a moment, you can pause this video. If you take a moment to reflect on these roles, I think you will begin to be able to identify within your own family of origin as well as your current family who fulfills those particular roles. Now, I will tell you that it is possible for one person to be to fulfill more than one role at a given time or in a given scenario with a family. Sorry, there was probably a little jump edit there. I tapped the wrong button. So these are some basic questions you're going to begin to ask yourself / the client. Who takes on the roles of within your family? What are the boundaries within your family? Not only the boundaries between individual members, but between the family unit and the outside world. How flexible are those? How inflexible are those? How permeable are those? How impermeable are those? I'll give you an example. Maybe growing up, maybe now. Have you ever had a neighbor who no one ever to their house? That's an example. We may not understand the exact reasoning, but that is certainly an example of a family with very well-defined, well-defended, basically impermeable boundaries as exemplified by that. Physically, they just don't let anybody into their home. Again, using the genogram, you can start to look at patterns, all kinds of patterns, relationships, alcohol use, education, employment, childbearing, when people have children, how many children people have, et cetera, et cetera. From there, that leads very naturally, very organically to a discussion about what happens in your family if you don't follow the prescribed rules, patterns, expectations. What happens if you or someone else does something differently? So for this video clip, we're almost out of time. I'm going to go ahead and stop this, and then we'll pick up on the other side with another video clip.